welcome to Bell Brothers Brewing.
Engineers talking about beers.
I'm Curtis.
I'm Cody.
And today we're doing the Bell Brothers Challenge video.
Challenge video!
So Cody, what is the challenge that we're doing today?
Today we're doing a 3 beers theme challenge. So we're going to each be served 3 beers, and there's going to be some sort of theme between all the beers that we're going to be able to taste or smell or perceive by looking at them. So it's going to be blind. We won't know what these beers are, anything like that. And the idea is we should know what the theme is, and we're going to take a few guesses at it.
We're going to bring in an extra element, that being the Bell wife.
A Bell wife. I'm only married to him.
I have my own wife. We don't, no Utah, reverse Utah weirdness going on here.
In this, what we're going to be doing is the only person that actually knows what the 3 beers are of that theme is the person that picked it out.
And it should be interesting, hopefully. If it's not, let us know.
Right.
Change the challenge video.
If you got a comment or a hint and an idea on how we can make it more interesting, feel free to hit us in those comments below. And that reminds me, have you gone over to our YouTube channel? Have you visited our Facebook page?
Have you subscribed to the YouTube channel?
Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Let's get into our first beer.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right.
All different colors?
We got 3 different colored beers here.
So we've got, oh, you're starting the other side?
I'm gonna start from the right, you can start from the left.
I'll start from the left.
Got a little darker amber one on my side here. Ooh, I like that smell. I like that taste.
That's pungent.
Okay. Next, I got the same one he's got.
Right,
Kind of gold,
middle,
there's some floaties in it.
Piece to it.
Wow, that's a different smell. Okay.
My drunk class there. And now I'm over on Cody's side here.
I'm back where Curtis started.
You said the smell of the taste was less than impressive on this one?
Yeah, the smell is good, and then the taste was a little disappointing.
Wow.
You guys are coming up on a minute.
I'm thinking there's definitely, I mean, obviously there's a theme involved here, right? That's you know, what's going on. The question really boils down to
Which theme is it?
mm-hmm. You know, honestly, I think this one's the most telling. That's what I gotta think.
Really? I think it's the middle.
Really? Mm-hmm. The connector between the 3 pieces here is what's going on. Oh.
Because the middle 2 are very similar, or the outside 2 are pretty similar.
You guys are coming up on 2 minutes. Anybody got a guess?
I think I have one.
I think it's worth the first guess anyways.
All right, ready? Turn around.
My guess? Cricks?
Okay.
All right.
So I guess bread.
Brett?
Britannomyces yeast.
So what I'm gonna give you is you both hit on elements that are in some of the beers, but not all.
Damn.
You have an eraser?
So no points.
No points.
All right. So our hint is that we were correct somewhat, but not all the way correct. Or all of the beer, or each of the beers had some of what we said, but not all of what all of them had all of it.
At least I'm pretty sure. Let me verify that real quick. I looked at too many things.
Because I can see your guess on the center one. I agree
Because
completely.
this is moderately sour, that's really sour, that's not really sour at all, but they were all a little funky.
Right.
So I thought they had a Britannomyces yeast in there, giving them that little funky horse blankety taste.
No, because I didn't pick up much of that. No. If you taste the center to this one or back the other way, you get some of those flavors because the center one's so strong on that. But if you go back and hit the last one a couple of times, it goes away. You're right, there is some in that though.
Don't look at me like that, Cody.
I think I have another guess.
Yeah. I'm down. I have one. Worthwhile anyways.
All right, turn them around. Curtis, good job. These are all wild fermentation.
There you go.
Just generically
Just
wild.
Yep.
I went lemon.
Yeah, they are
very.
very tart.
So I have the Dissident 2014 Reserved, which was aged in French oak wine barrels and brewed with cherries
That's gotta be that one.
from Deschutes. Yes,
Yeah.
that's the
There was a
pink one.
barrel-aged one very distinctly on that.
The middle one is Goes Mariag Parfait. So it's an old style from Belgium, also wild fermentation. And then the last one is the Lost Abbey's Ghosts in the Forest, again oak aged, wild fermentation.
And you know, that was surprising. I tasted what seemed like some of the vanilla oak kind of piece in the lighter one, although you didn't see the color reflected in that.
It didn't really taste that oaky to me. I got some small hints of it, but it
Did
wasn't
you taste?
super strong.
Yeah, I tasted all of them.
Oh, okay. Well, I figured you...
So, which of these did you think was best, though?
Best. You know, that's a really hard guess. I liked each one for different reasons.
Okay. But still, which one did you enjoy most?
The
There had to be
most
one that you took a sip of and went, I like that one.
I'm going to have to go with the far right. I really liked the softer Brettanomyces aged. Yeah, so the Dissident. I think the French oak brought in some really cool...
Oak and cherries really played well
Yeah,
there.
and then you've got that wild fermentation that gave you some of that horse blanket kind of Brettanomyces flavors to it. And I thought, wow, that was really complex.
This is one I liked. I liked
That's
the middle.
so interesting because I totally preferred the first one.
I thought this one
Cheers, you can finish your bottles because I don't need any more of
I
that.
thought you might like
that had
this.
a really good flavor. It was nice and balanced between being like a good base beer with a little bit of the sour, tangy, wild, but not too wild. Because you can't go too wild. Like a really, really wild fermented beer, you're just like, who put weird, chewy socks and shit in my beer?
Right?
This one had enough wildness to be interesting, but not overly wild.
Right, see, and I was kind of nervous about this one because it doesn't say what kind of beer it is. It just says aged on oak and wild.
Yeah.
So I was not expecting to like this one, but I like the sharp funk that you get from the wild fermentation. And then I think that oak comes in and kind of softens off those rough edges that you can get with wild fermentation. So I totally enjoyed
To
this.
me, that one was just sort of one note-ish, and I felt like this one was a little too sweet for me. The one Curtis picked was a little too sweet to me.
It is sweet.
And this one hit just right at that nice spot where it's enough interesting flavors, but not over-interesting to really hit a good spot, and I felt like that one was a little flat.
I also think that's the most sour of them, though, which would make it...
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that one
Really?
was
That one
sour.
tasted most sour to me. This one was only sour by comparison to that one.
Yeah. So I thought the center one, the one that you're working on right there, I thought had, like, when you said Brett, as soon as I tasted that one, I was like, holy moly, that's got some Brett to it.
I retract that. That's what I don't like about that is the funk, like the horse
Yeah, it's got
blanket.
strong funk, but I
That's
think it's
what
that
it was.
right level
It
of
is
funk.
super funky. And so, like, when you, like,
Too much funk.
it's too much, right? So, like, I thought this one aged it well enough that you got the funky, but it wasn't overpowering. And the first one, I thought was, like you said, one not necessarily one note, but like too strong in the sour, like the wildness of it just overpowered the rest of the flavors. And so I think they were trying to put some complexity in there, but just the way it was fermented,
It didn't balance it all
it didn't
together.
balance the beer as well enough.
So
Alright,
for those of
so
you
that's-
playing along at home, the score currently stands 0 because I'm not playing it. 0 and 2.
Off to a strong lead for Curtis again.
We've got to get him, Cody. We got to get him.
Do you think you get 1 point because you beat us on the first guess?
That seems like
I think that's a fair
that's
rule.
a fair rule.
Because then you gain some points
The
when you're not
person
Yeah.
who's doing the combo gets more points the less you get in.
Yes. So if
We'll
nobody
say 1, 2, and 0.
Cody,
That's
come
it.
on. All right. Well, this round. Curtis pours the next one.
Okay.
So, Cody, one of the interesting things we were talking about here, since we're doing a 3-beer challenge, is how drinking order can actually impact your perception of beers that you're tasting.
Yeah, so an important part of this is that we're tasting 3 different beers, and because we're not doing like crackers and water between each beer to kind of clear the palate.
Which tastes like dust anyways when you judge.
Yeah, but it tastes like dust for a reason, is it clears your palate so that you can then individually taste every beer. When we were just doing that last batch, one of the beers changed flavors by a large amount depending on which one you had before it. The middle one, if you had the right one before the middle one, it tasted very sour. If you had the left one before the middle one, it did not taste sour at all.
Which is why when I was like, I didn't like the middle one, it was so sour, and they were like, no, the one that you're drinking is the most sour. I forgot because I drank them from right to left instead of left to right, and so the middle one was really sour compared to the Deschutes that Curtis liked. Yeah.
Ready, go.
Those really are all different colors, Cody.
Yep.
I'm gonna start at the lightest one, not because there's any particular reason.
Ooh, I like that smell.
That is complex
Deep.
and completely different from the center. Holy crap! Yep, that changes over there. Oh man, this is gonna be rough. And I think Liz is gonna like this one a lot, based on the aromas anyway. Alright, so now that you've got like the weird color changes and the smells, we're gonna go and I'm gonna sip into it.
Holy shit, Cody. That is good.
It's, wow. Yeah, different kind of flavors. I'm really interested to talk about these, knowing what they're going to taste like, or when they talk about style. Although, buttered popcorn is the first thought that comes out of that one.
Really? Is it supposed to be buttered popcorn?
And then,
No, it's not supposed to go with buttered popcorn.
Just,
so middle of the road. It's got hints.
it's a 5, Cody. Cody picked a 5.
No, I mean like in the sense that like there's no necessarily like no flavor that jumps out in this center one. Like it's unique, but they're all melding together very well.
30 seconds.
And the last one is a really specific note to it. Very dark. Wait.
Curtis is gonna get this one, and I'm gonna be mortified.
You may have made it too easy.
I'm trying to figure out if the flavor is consistent across what I'm thinking there is right there.
2 minutes have elapsed.
I'm ready to guess, but
I don't have any clue what's going on.
All right, guess time.
now I'm gonna be talking all this smack, and I'm gonna be wrong, and it won't make a difference.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, flip. Liz has it.
Oh shit, I got it!
Damn.
Barrel aged!
Oh yeah, that's it.
Every one of those is a barrel-aged beer. So you go grab the containers. You guys talk.
So, what gave it, like, the stout is like your this is like dragon's milk.
Right.
You just know immediately that it's barrel aged. I have no clue what this one is, but I like it. To me, this tastes like an orange dreamsicle that was aged in some sort of a barrel. And this one, the only thing that gave it away, whatever this middle one is, Cody's gonna have to introduce it. The only thing that gave it away was how smooth it was around the edges.
Far left is a barrel-aged grapefruit gosé from Loveland Ale Works.
Grapefruit. I don't like grapefruit, but that was really good.
Yeah, barrel-aged grapefruit gosé, first up, with salt.
That's what I was. So the salt, and I think maybe like I don't know. I think there was a buttery flavor to it. I don't know if you want to retaste them or if you did.
I tasted them while you're doing it.
Okay, yeah. So like
I kind of agree with you. It had a hint of butter going
like
on
when
there.
you get like a little bit of that vanilla going on from the barrel, I think with the salt, to me there was like this buttered popcorn kind of flavor that's saying.
Okay, I can, now that he's saying that, I can totally see, like, when you smell it, it does kind of taste a little diacetyl-y, like you get a little bit of that butter going on. Again,
Grapefruit's lost on me.
I
didn't
don't
taste
like
that.
grapefruit, so I totally picked it up. Like I said, though, that's so smooth. I thought
Oh, yeah.
it was orange. I thought it was an orange dreamsicle.
All right.
Like a-
Next up from Horse and Dragon Brewing, we have Blue Giant Imperial APA.
Horse Dragon making a comeback because we have definitely poo-pooed them before.
Oh no, we liked them.
We liked one,
Oh,
and then we
one.
had one bad one,
Right.
and I got another
So
good
they're
one.
coming back.
Rye whiskey barrel aged. I didn't think you could barrel age an IPA, and it does lose a lot of its IPA nature.
It's
it kind
not
of goes
hoppy.
into more
It's not hoppy
amber
at all.
ale-ish.
Yeah.
It's like a bitter amber ale.
If you said this was an IPA, I'd be like, you're full of shit. There's no...
It
there's
goes
no
more
way.
amber ale, which is about what happens because you barrel age an IPA and
I
you
mean,
lose all of the hop
Except
flavor.
for the color, I don't know if you guys can see that. I would have called that like maybe pale ale-esque because it's not quite malty enough to be an amber.
But the bitters do shine through, though.
The bitters shine
bitterness-
through on the end.
The 60-minute hop that they put in the bitterness, now that you said IPA, I can really tell that there's a lot of that bitterness that balances the barrel age in there. There was thought process brought into this in the sense of, oh, we're barrel aging an IPA. And realizing that the IPA flavors, the hops in the 20 and the 10, the 0, right, the flavor and aroma hops aren't going to shine through if you barrel age. They thought that one through. I think they thought that one through.
So Cody,
Yeah.
what's the third one?
And the final one by Avery Brewing is a barrel aged vanilla bean stout.
So good.
I think we already know
Yeah.
whose favorite that is.
Yeah.
I would actually drink all of these.
Mhm.
Hi, my name's Liz, and I'm an alcoholic. I like barrel-aged beers. So what are the ABVs? This is 10.5.
9.2
It's that
and
barrel, guys.
9.0.
Yeah.
So,
it's
again,
barrel aged.
Not only
9%
do I
across
like
the
the
board.
barrel-aged stuff, I like the really, really barrel-aged stuff.
Well,
So-
but like as soon as I smelled that one, I got like chocolate, vanilla, like a milk chocolate kind of taste, smell to it, and then the vanilla really shines through. Well, and I think the barrel really pumped that up even more so.
Well, and what's interesting here, so when I was at the store today, I actually picked up some of New Holland's Dragon's Milk White, which is their barrel-aged stout, but a white one instead of the normal dark one, and I really like it. And I'm wondering if that's why Curtis couldn't pick up on the grapefruit, because that one reminded me so much of a white dragon's milk. That's what
Really?
I was like, that tastes like the barrel-aged white dragon's milk. And this is barrel-aged. So made, and this one just, it's round and full-bodied and like...
It's got some hints, but it doesn't really pump the full,
Not
the
even-
barreliness.
If you had poured me this, and I had not had the other two to compare it to, I never would have guessed that this was barrel-aged.
That was sort of supposed to be the left
The
the
wild.
left
It
hook to throw
was.
you guys off, is because like this one was going to be, it was either one of these two was going to fuck you up. That was obviously the stout was like, hey, obvious barrel aged stout.
It was.
Dun, dun, dun. It's a completely obvious choice. But a barrel aged IPA and a barrel aged Gose were both left field sort of choices that I was looking to see if I could kind of break the chain between the two with those.
Well, and the
ones.
Gose, I don't, like, do you get
Think-
any...
Think caramel and taste that. That's all I'm gonna really push towards.
Okay, fair. It tastes like
It
salted
is caramelly.
caramel.
It's salted
Right.
caramel with a weird tangy.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a salted caramel orange.
yeah, it's the Gose because you could pick up on the sour, right?
Orange
There's no issues
dreamsicle.
on that.
Seriously, that's what I was thinking was orange
But
dreamsicle.
I picked up on like that salted caramel flavor
Mhm.
or buttered popcorn that could like kind of fall into that. And to me, like there was sweetness, the brand of the caramel. That's why I went caramel was because like each one had like hints towards that to me. But I think that's the sweetness, the vanilla that
Yeah.
you're getting, the Imperial IPA with the bitterness, that kind of the rye
I
that came
don't
through.
get caramel on the middle one at all.
Really?
I could have seen it, like, I definitely see it on the Gose.
Okay.
And see, the stout to me, the barrel just kind of takes over everything. It says vanilla bean, and luckily barrels tend to impart vanilla flavors.
Yes.
Otherwise, I would say that's not what this stout is because
Mm-hmm.
the barrel just takes everything over.
Yeah. Yeah, the middle one is probably the least. The IPA is the one that is least barrel tasting,
Right.
but it does have just enough. Well, clearly it has just enough since
Show the.
she got it on the first try.
Right. Cody gets no points. Liz gets 3 points, and I have no points.
So
So 2, 0, and 4. Well, we have a winner because no one else, unless we can't guess Curtis's set of beers.
But you can't guess them; they're frozen.
That's
I
the
win.
theme. The theme, they're all frozen. Haha, I get 3 points.
that's not how this works.
All right, 2 minutes. Go.
We have.
They're at least different colors.
Yeah, 3 different colors. I'm gonna start on the end here. We got a dark amber, notes of red.
Why do you start on the wrong end?
Because I do it what I want. Cause I'm a grown ass man. I do whatever the fuck I want.
That's why a woman's gonna kick your ass. See, now I've said that, I'm gonna fuck this up.
So we got.
Did you steal my idea?
Nope. Nope.
That tastes like NyQuil.
Which one?
The middle one.
Ah, shit. Okay. Yup, tastes like NyQuil.
Yum, NyQuil.
NyQuil. Wasn't fair doing Cody's ahead of this.
Ready whenever you call time.
The real drunk glass there. We got 10 more seconds left of 2 minutes.
I'm so confident I'm even gonna write my answer down now. And let me fix it because I just wrote it with random capitals in it.
Normal for Cody.
This has got to be more specific than what I'm thinking, but I can't think.
Jack, you guys ready?
Yep.
Reveal.
Too much ABV.
Cody's got it right.
Cherry.
Yep.
I said-
Every one of those is a cherry beer.
You know, I went fruit. I was thinking fruit, but I didn't say
I'm gonna
it.
guess we have a cherry Ode Brewing.
Well, hey. We did the thing.
We made sure he lost.
Woo!
And I got points today.
Cody got points.
So, cherry Ode Brewing, a plain cherry ale, and a cherry.
Okay, so what's the first one?
Your first one is Lost Abbey Red Pompey, which is a barrel-aged cherry with poppy seeds added.
From the left?
No, that's
From
far
the
right.
right.
That's
Far
the far
right.
right.
You know what's
hand side.
funny is I saw that beer.
And all they say is barrel-aged ale.
It comes across as an Ode Brewing.
It
To
does
me.
come across as an oat brew. You're completely right.
They don't say what the baseline beer is, so who knows kind of, where that lands.
Where's it
Brewing
from?
or a Flanders?
Where's it
Are the
from?
The Lost Abbey.
Yep.
That's downtown.
Oh,
sorry. Canyon City.
Is it California? No,
Oh.
this is California, you
Is it
idiots.
California?
Yes.
Oh.
San Marcos, California, which is where my first beer came from, which is why I saw this.
Yes. It was very familiar. It was from the same company that we
Yes.
had on that one.
There you go. Well, it comes across as a Flanders Red or an Ode Brewing.
You could. I think there's definitely some
It comes
complexities
across
with
as
it.
an oat brew.
Mhm.
It's
Because it's got that brown ale and sour.
yeah, it's
and
too dark to be
A Flanders?
a Flanders. And it's not refined enough.
And it's got a little too much of that darker note.
Yeah,
Flanders is
it's
a-
definitely
doesn't have
more
as
of an
much
oat
dark.
brew.
Because they're not trying to sour it necessarily. In this, that it's not
Eh,
a sour beer.
It's
No, it
definitely
doesn't.
got. It
It's
tastes
definitely
like
got
sour.
sour.
I think the cherries and the poppy seed, they probably went with sour cherries.
No, it's got that
No.
clean.
It has the
It's got
sour.
a pure lactic tang.
They don't.
To me,
it doesn't
it's
say
got that
anything
tang
about.
like
There's
a
no.
real-
See, okay, Lost Abbey, your first one had a whole freaking fanfic story on the back, and this one, let me read it to you, literally says barrel aged ale with cherries and poppy seeds added. That tells me nothing about the beer.
Like that really tastes like they had a clear. Like it's got to have. It's got that clear lactic tanginess, not just the fruity.
It's got a really cool bottle.
It does have a
nice
really cool bottle.
I like the picture. The nice.
Red
It's got a
flower.
simple design of like the bright red flower on a black background.
Well, I mean, it was exactly like the Lost Ghost. Okay, so Lost Abbey, apparently we need to drink more of your stuff.
Okay, so we got Rosetta, sour aged cherries with natural
From
flavor.
Oma Gang.
So that's
Oma
more
Gang,
like a
sorry.
Kavik sort of style
Yeah.
cherry.
I was thinking crick-ish.
So what is this? Say what it is.
Yeah, there you go. Crick, not convenient.
Yeah, so this is Omegang Brewery's Rosetta Sour Ale aged on cherries with natural flavors. Now, so natural flavors tells me they added like an extract.
Cherry extract.
Yeah.
It does
Yeah.
kind of have that flavor. It's got a brighter cherry, it's not got that sour pie cherry note. It's got more of a Rainier cherry.
But I would agree that it's natural. So when you're doing this, anytime you find a fruit beer, you want to look for that word natural. Because while they may have used an extract, that extract is probably real cherry juice. Because this doesn't taste like chemicals.
No, it
If
does
this
not.
was cherry extract, it would say artificial, and it would taste like plastic.
Right.
Don't do
Though
that.
it does taste slightly nightly.
Yeah, apparently.
It does!
So what I was trying to do with the cherry flavor was like spread it across multiple styles. And what I realized is there's limited styles that allow cherry apparently to come through, which means that we should really do like a cherry IPA or a cherry pale ale
That would be
Because-
interesting.
because it doesn't exist.
Mhm.
Like I kept looking and looking and looking, and anything that had cherry in it immediately went to this tart cherry, kind of pie cherry, tart, sour.
Well, but I
beer.
think that's exactly what Cody was talking about with the middle one, though. Cherry is one of those flavors that more than any other berry, more than raspberry, blueberry, whatever, is going to go towards NyQuil. It just is. So you'd have to be really careful, but Cody, I challenge you to figure out how to make something that would be more
An
interesting.
IPA cherry.
And if there's one guy who can't
cool.
figure it out, it'd be that guy. So the last one is North Coast Brewing. I had never seen this one from these guys before. Berliner Weiss, which I thought was a nice kind of shift.
Yeah.
But they have a tart cherry beer. So it's just a cherry beer.
Where's it from? I know it says product of the USA. Turn it around. What's the state?
Spontaneously soured.
Oh, so another wild ale.
Fort Bragg, California.
Which explains why I tasted that and I was like, did you steal my theme?
Right.
Because
No.
this first one I tasted and I was like, this is exactly what I purchased.
So can they call it a Berliner Weiss if they spontaneously soured the beer?
Let's ask the BJCP guidelines.
Yeah, not really. I don't think so. I
Right.
don't think spontaneously soured is correct for a Berliner.
Yeah, I don't think you can call it a Berliner Weiss. It's a wild ale at that point. Whatever you want to call a
I
farmhouse.
mean, they could have.
or
It's a
bread or-
wild fermented Berliner Weiss, but it's not truly a Berliner Weiss because Berliner Weiss is a in-house fermented. I think we'll see when we get to the thingies. Do the guidelines say
Right.
that it's allowed?
So this is tart cherry. It doesn't have as far as like actual discussion on that, but North Coast Brewing. What I wanted
The
to do
flavor's
was
pretty
bring
cool.
like a consistent cherry flavor, but like different styles, so that the kind of key theme obviously rang
was
through
the
pretty
cherry. The
well.
only
Yeah.
through line was cherry. And I think
Yeah.
that was pretty true. These are somewhat similar, other than this one having a lot. The Lost Abbey had a lot more dark notes and was like Ode Bruin-like,
So-
whereas the middle one was much more a sort of, there wasn't a lot of beer flavor. It was clearly focused on the cherry.
So the hard part about some of this is you really have to read the bottle. A Berliner Weiss, it doesn't specifically say that it can be wild fermentation, but it does say it can have Brett, and it does say like house fermentation, like you were talking about. So
I think
I
maybe
mean-
that allows for an open top wild.
right, so like there were a number of beers that I looked at for mine that said it was like a special house, like whatever fermentation, but it didn't specifically say wild on the bottle.
Mhm.
The ones that I picked that were wild specifically
wild.
specified wild. So maybe a Berliner Weiss can be, who knows? But it was enough towards that funk and that sour that made me think,
Wild ale.
oh God, we're not going to do this again, are we?
No.
I mean, the only thing is that for a Berliner Weiss, I usually think of a cleaner sour
Mhm.
and a little less sour, actually. That is a bit more sour than a normal Berliner Weiss.
I
to
agree.
me.
Yeah, it is more soured than a Berliner Weiss, where a Berliner Weiss would just be a sour beer.
Yeah, this
It's-
strikes me more as almost like a cherry lambic.
Yeah, because a Berliner Weiss should be that medium to low sour. Like, it should be sour, but it shouldn't be a high sour. And that kind of came in as medium to medium high sourness.
Although,
And I really like the clean kind of cherry taste that it brings, because
Yeah.
it says it's a cherry beer, right? Like that's it. Like it didn't add. So like
Yeah, I think Omegang actually had the more interesting cherry flavor
Yes,
in the
I
fact
like
that it was a sweeter, like it is still sour, but it had a sweeter cherry.
No, Berliner Weiss has the sour tag on it, so it is supposed to be sour.
Yeah,
It is supposed to be sour, but it's usually a lower sour. So when you go Berliner Weiss, Gose, or Ghost to, Berliner Weiss to Gose to true sour beer. So I think Berliner Weiss is usually in the range of a Gose.
It could be. I don't mind that one. I think so. If I had to pick a favorite, I've got to pick Omegang personally.
Really?
Really? I think the Lost
It
Abbey.
tastes like NyQuil. Both Cody and I.
It kind of throws me
I
into a
disagree
NyQuil.
completely.
I
I
like
like
Lost Abbey here.
Yeah, you like Lost
I think
Abbey?
Lost Abbey's cherry. I like the dark notes. It kind of plays well with the tartness and the bright of the cherry with the darker notes of the brownish sort of ale they put behind it.
I could see that. I think as far as like a clean cherry beer, I would have to go with the first one. Like, yes, it's a little bit sour, but then I'm the girl that likes like cherry limeade, where you've got that bite to accompany the cherry, which I think really helps it stay out of that NyQuil flavor.
Yeah.
Because it gives it that brightness and that refreshing taste at the finish. But I can totally see what you're saying about the third one, where those dark notes play really nicely.
I think that
They make a nice
normally
counterpoint to the cherry.
Yeah.
Because you've got that
Yes.
dark notes with the bright sour of the tart pie cherry, and it just kind of, it plays together well
It
to
does.
make a good background.
It totally does.
Oh, I got to go with Omegang's Rosetta.
That one is
You guys not-
interesting, but it is kind of
Really?
just like a weird
No.
NyQuil cold
I
flavor.
don't. I'm not picking up the NyQuil cold flavor. I'm picking up like solid.
drink the Lost Abbey and then go into that.
All right, I'll do that.
I think that was the big thing. Is I went Lost Abbey straight into that,
See, but
and
the
it
thing
went
is,
NyQuil.
I didn't.
You
I
did the
went,
opposite.
I went the other way, and I still got a little
I think
bit
it's
of NyQuil.
well, both of the end ones, left and right, were both tart cherry first. So then we went tart cherry into sweet cherry,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
made it go.
Maybe that's
NyQuil.
why I like it. Is that Omegang has the sweeter
Sweet
cherry?
Yeah, it's definitely a sweet.
Yeah, it's a
cherry.
sweet cherry flavor, and I really like. I prefer a sweeter cherry flavor. It's still pie cherry, but it's not like it's not
Okay.
maraschino cherry.
But on that
That's why I
note,
said Rainier cherry.
Yeah.
Omegang, I gotta ding you though for that, because he's saying it's sweet, and I would agree it's sweet. Do you agree it's sweet?
Yes, it's sweet.
And this is a sour ale.
I mean, it's
There
still
is sour.
It is somewhat
it's not
sour,
as
but-
soured as the other two.
It's not as soured as like the Berliner Weiss though.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
isn't supposed to be that sour. When you tell me a sour ale, I'm expecting like a pucker level of 5 out of 5, and Cody's going, woo, this is my jam.
This tastes like some country time level sour.
Yeah, it's a 2
Yeah.
on the out of 10 scale because of the sweetness and the residual, followed by probably the cherry beer at like a 6, and then I would say that Lost Abbey's probably running like an 8.
Yeah, somewhere in that range. Lost
Probably
Abbey
like
is
that.
definitely more sour, but it's got so much dark notes that kind of
Exactly.
balance the
Well,
sour
and-
that it doesn't come across as like sour.
But technically speaking, Cody and I both thought it was an Ode Brewing, which is classified as a European sour beer.
Yeah,
So-
well, it is clearly a sour,
Yeah.
without any
Well,
question.
and they don't tell you what the base beer is. They just pick
Yeah.
a sour cherry beer.
Fix
So-
that. That is annoying as hell.
Right. So there's what we got. We got that. What are our scores? What do you got? 3 points for Cody.
3,
2 points for me.
4.
4 points for Liz. And that means that
On her debut video, Liz is the winner.
Yay!
Liz.
And we managed to dethrone Curtis.
Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this new style of the challenge video. We're bringing in our third competitor here, hopefully to shake some things up.
Thank you for visiting us here at Bell Brothers Brewing.
Engineers talking about beers.
Cheers.
Being on this side of the camera is weird.
Yeah, you practicing for later?